What are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized with
Christianity? Christianity is super sexist. Women are constantly viewed and treated as second-class citizens.
The fact that not only is it normalized, but a lot of people think it's cute if a man is incapable of doing the most basic parts of parenting.
Just the fact that girls are raised to be wives and told what they can or can't do in their present for what their future husband might like. Oh, you have to keep your purity because your future husband won't like that. Oh, you can't dance that way because your future husband won't like that. You can't.
Let's talk about the blatantly sexiest thing people do and say to women, but the society normalizes it. Please feel free to like this video and subscribe.
What are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized with
I've tried numerous times and asked numerous doctors if I can have my tubes tied because I do not want children. My husband and I do not want children. They want to have a meeting with both me and my husband. They tell me I'll probably change my mind, that I'm too young, or that I need to wait until I have at least one child, even though I don't want any. But my husband can make one phone call and set up an appointment just like that.
Why did they have to ask for her husband's consent before considering her request? It's her body, it's her right, isn't it? I don't know how things work in the US regarding that. According to federal government policy, women do not need their spouse's consent to have their tubes tied, though that was a requirement decades ago. In 1974, states like Georgia, North Carolina, and Virginia required spousal consent for procedures, but by the end of the 1970s, the requirement had been challenged by a handful of court cases, and the federal courts ruled state spousal consent laws unconstitutional, though the Supreme Court has never issued a judgment on the matter, so it isn't completely resolved. This is a woman that has decided to be child-free and she wants to tie her tube. She doesn't want babies, and the doctor is here trying to make her feel bad by telling her that, oh, she might regret it, she's too young, or she should consider having one child at least before embarking on that journey. That's absurd. Someone just told you this is what I want to do and you're trying to talk the person out of it. How old do you have to be to get your tubes tied? Medical professionals sometimes try to dissuade young people with uterus from having tubal ligation due to its permanence. However, there is no legal age requirement for getting your tubes tied in the United States. It's a different scenario if she met a therapist, if she's speaking to a therapist, but this is a doctor. I understand doctors are also there to advise. I get it. It's part of the job. You need to advise because they know better when it comes to the human body. But she said this has happened not just once. Whenever she tries doing this, she gets almost the same thing. I went to get mine done 4 years ago and they never asked my husband. I'm in England. The doctors were more concerned with trying to persuade me to take another form of contraception, a less invasive one. No permission needed other than my own. So for the child-free people that have decided to tie their tube, or the ones that successfully tied their tube, was it the same thing you experienced? Please feel free to share with us in the comment section.
When anything happens to a woman, be it a crime or an accident, they're almost always referred to as a wife and a mother first on a news broadcast. Mother of two dies in a tragic accident. Wife and mother injured in an attack. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with being a wife and a mother. I myself am a wife. But the fact that she is referred to by not her name first, but by her relationship to others is kind of messed up. And there is a difference when men are mentioned. It's almost always local man Dale Smith tragically dies in an accident, and then later on they might mention that he was a husband and a father. But it's almost never father of two dies in a tragic accident. It's almost always mother, almost always wife. And the way I see it is that I was Amanda way before I was anyone's wife. I'm not just my husband's wife. I am me first.
Please, what do you think about that? Is that something you've noticed before? Were you paying attention to that? To be honest with you, I've not really paid attention to that. I just thought about it the moment she mentioned it. I know they love to attach motherhood and being a wife to women more than the woman's personality or who the woman is. A lot of women are being lost in the name of marriage and being a mother. That's the truth. Or a mother or a wife. They forget that that woman has an identity. She has a name.
blatantly sexist?
All right, this is the easy one. Come with me. Bam. When I was 16, I opened a bank account and they gave me a folder to put all my statements. That's how old I am. Anyway. That. I hid my personal info, but this is my selective service registration card. On my 18th birthday, I got 2 things in the mail. I got a letter from Gillette telling me happy birthday with a free razor in it, and I got a form from the U.S. government that said, fill this out, and if we need you for military service, we'll call you. But weird, my wife turned 18 5 days after me, and she didn't get that letter in the mail. And don't get me wrong, in terms of policy, we should probably just abolish selective service altogether. It's kind of old, antiquated. We don't really need it. We have enough people joining the military as is. But if we're going to have it, why isn't everyone's name on the list?
Since he made mention of the US, I think it would be best for me to also make reference to women in the US. Women in the US, when you turn 18 years old, did you get any letter in the mail from any pad company? Because Gillette is a shaving stick, I think so, a shaving stick company. So did you get any letter in the mail from any pad company giving you a pad because you just turned 18? Women also use shaving stick, so why didn't they send that to women as well? Did you also get a mail from the military about joining the military? Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. Could it be they sent it to the wife and the wife did not get it? I don't know. I think it's best for me to hear from the people in the US, the women in the US. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section on this one.
They're blatantly sexist, but are so
the way we expect girls to be polite versus the way we expect men to be polite. So many of us girls, I'm sure, myself included, were conditioned to apologize for things like bumping into someone or accidentally knocking over something. We were overly told to be polite. But men were really never ever conditioned to that. And even so, we are not used to men apologizing so much that we actually critique the way they apologize. And then just think about the way many of us try to problem solve. Women want to work out the issue. Oftentimes men do not because they're not required to work out the issue. The way we literally are so polite is actually a danger to us. One of the most famous known serial killers who killed women, I won't name their name, but I'll put it up there, literally said women are so afraid of being impolite, they will get into a car with a stranger to seem polite, and that is often their downfall. He literally picked women because they were so impolite.
I agree with her on this one because women are more polite than men. This is from my own observation. You might have observed something different, but from my own observation, from where I grew up, from my journey through life, I've noticed that women are more polite than men. Women can easily say thank you. Women can easily use the magic word please. Women can easily apologize, but men don't really do that easily. And she's saying it's conditioning. Of course, I agree with her because it feels like to men, if they have to say please, be that polite, they might be perceived as being weak. It's part of the patriarchal system and the toxic masculinity we've already spoken about on this channel. So I totally agree with her on this particular one. Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. The big one is coming. The next one is big and very controversial.
Christianity. Christianity is super sexist. Women are constantly viewed and treated as second-class citizens. They are supposed to be servants to their husbands and all the men around them. All of the positive attributes that are given to women in the Bible involve them being submissive and quiet. Does that sound like anything to you? I don't know, like a dog or a pet? Jesus. You know what? Let's just do this. This is a very common thing I've seen. Just look at this. I've seen so many Christians post this. Christ, husband, wife, children. It's in the teachings. You're not as important as men. Plain and simple.
To be honest with you, his statement is not far from the truth because women are never first-class citizens when it comes to Christianity. The man is always placed above the woman. And with the Bible, the woman is there to be submissive. The woman is there to do the man's bidding, to listen to the man, and the man is supposed to be the provider. And mostly, the women in the Bible were not them talkative. They were always those type of women that listen to their husband, listen to men, and kind of docile. I know they have the proverb that one woman that did her thing. They have other women that were a little bit vocal, but that wasn't general in the Bible. That wasn't that common in the Bible. The woman that was very vocal was Jezebel, and we all saw how her own story went, how they tagged her so many things. Oh, she was a prostitute and all that. The way the Bible is structured is to make women submissive to men to make women serve men. This is my own understanding, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. If you're okay with that, that's cool, but just know that not everyone is okay with that. I do have an issue with that, so it might not be an issue to you, but to me it's an issue. Why is it that way? And I've also questioned who wrote the Bible. The Bible is part of the Abrahamic books and all that. It's part of the patriarchal system. Religion, Christianity is part of the religion, and I love to question things. I don't like to take things and run with it and believe it 100%. I always ask questions. I know some people might feel offended because you're questioning your religion, because in some religion you're not supposed to ask questions, you're not supposed to question your God and all that. Sorry, my intent is not to offend you, but to question it. So why are women second-class citizens? Because if women are second-class citizens in the society, is the Bible not supposed to do differently? What does that tell you? It means the Bible and the society are in sync. Think about it.
What are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized with?
Let's talk about the fact that after carrying a baby for 9 months, then proceeding to give birth to it, taking a maternity leave from work, and literally spending all your free time cleaning up its shit, the last name of the kid is almost usually the father's. Like, it really just boggles my brain the amount of privilege men receive in society. Just marry a woman, she takes your last name, then you impregnate her, she destroys her body giving birth to this child, and then you stamp your last name on the child as well. We really need to normalize as a society women passing down their own last names to their kids. I just don't know why in the 21st century we're still going through this.
Okay, so what are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized within society? I'll take the bait and go first. The fact that it's so normalized for women to change their last name after getting married is beyond me. Like, this is the name you got your degree with. This is the name that is associated with all your accomplishments, yet society just expects you to pack it up and change it the second you get married. And the fact that so many men out there expect their significant other to change their last name for them. And I understand all the arguments for why you would want to change your last name to be a part of the family and it's easier for the kids and all that BS. But the fact that the pressure is solely put on women, my last name is a huge part of my identity and I ain't changing it for no one. But y'all stay safe out there.
Speaking as a Nigerian, I understand where this is coming from. And I think it might be the same with other people in other parts of the world. The concept of a woman taking a man's last name goes back to the 15th century when women were legally considered their husbands once they married. But it wasn't until the 1970s when many states began shifting their laws to make it easier for women to keep their surname upon getting married. It has to do with our ancestors. You know, when our ancestors had their community and their society, men were always in the forefront of everything. And it's easier for them to identify a family by their surname, by the man's name. It's easier for them to identify a woman by her husband's name. And those days, women are required to get married to a man because the man is what they recognize in the family. Women are always behind. No one really cares much about the women. It's always about the men. You call for general meeting, the men are the ones to represent. Men would represent their family. When it comes to representation, men are the ones in the forefront, and they regard men more than they regard women. So it made sense to them for women to bear their husband's name so they can easily recognize where that woman is coming from. Going back to ancestral days, things were not really done to favor women that much. So I guess that was where all this whole stuff started from. And it's something that people can look into if they don't feel comfortable with it anymore. Because a lot of women are rising against that. Women are not happy. Like, why should I drop my father's name? My father that did a lot for me. My father that gave me life. Mind you, everyone's father is not good to them. Everyone's father is not the same. Some people had horrible fathers. So I'm making reference to people that had great relationships with their father. So those people will be like, why should I drop my father's name and take on another man's name? No, I'm not going to do that. So I think this is something you can look into. For those that want to hold on to their father's name and still remain married, they should find a way around it.
Some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized.
Oh, you're almost there. It's not just the whole, well, women are expected to change their last name. It is the whole industry, my dude. And if you don't think the wedding industry is sexist, Let me provide you with some clear-cut examples. And this is from a girl who's only been planning her wedding for about half a year. Not only is there the unspoken expectation that women are supposed to plan their entire wedding with the help of other women in the family, we make jokes about how stressful it is for men just to be in the room while they're doing this. And there's the expectation that you're supposed to enjoy every second of it, like it's the greatest thing ever. It is the most stressful party you will ever plan. The amount of products that exist for women on their wedding day. Oh my God. Everything from things having to do with dresses to a fucking workout planner. I wish I was kidding. Let me know if you want more because they do it to me.
What are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized?
The fact that not only is it normalized, but a lot of people think it's cute if a man is incapable of doing the most basic parts of parenting. Oh, my husband can't even be with the kids for 2 hours without calling me. Ha ha ha. That's nothing, Beth. David won't even touch dirty diapers. Ha. Oh, well, my husband was supposed to dress our daughter this morning and he sent her to school in dirty pajamas. Isn't that darling? What's funny about only women being expected to, take care of their motherfucking children? Oh, and the fact that if a man sees his children every other weekend, most people would think he's a good father who's trying, and you're a dirty bitch if you put him on child support. But you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who will say a woman is a good mother if she only saw her children 2 weekends a month.
So normal.
Just the fact that girls are raised to be wives and told what they can or can't do in their present for what their future husband might like. Oh, you have to keep your purity because your future husband won't like that. Oh, you can't dance that way because your future husband won't like that. You can't wear that because he won't like that. You can't look this way. You can't post those videos. You have to look this type of way. You have to know how to cook and clean, as if those aren't human traits that we all need to know how to do as adults to stay alive. But then boys are taught, oh, well, boys will be boys. They're just having fun. Boys mature way slower than girls do. So we're just going to let him have a great time. Who the hell are y'all raising these wives for? And then it's normalized and it's seen as such a crazy idea as if you ask a woman what she wants to do when she grows up, and if she doesn't mention marriage or children, she's looked at as a pariah in society. But if you ask a man, the only thing they expect from him is a career. Bitch, I want a job too.
What does that tell you? It's a man's world we live in. The system is being structured to favor men. Women are supposed to serve men the way the system is being built. Women are like the slaves of the society to serve men. Yeah, this is supposed to be a secret. The way the society is constructed, men are the kings, women are the slaves. They hide the slave and the master relationship under the umbrella of marriage. The man goes out there to buy a slave or in the name of getting married, and the woman serves the man, bears him children, cleans for him, cooks for him, nurtures him, while the man progresses in his career, and the woman loses herself, has no focus in life, no purpose in life. The only title she has, being a homemaker, being a mother, being a wife. While the man is a father, is a husband, and is a career man who is being cheated here. So it tells you that the society is very intentional. All they do is to favor men. I think the society is working hand in hand with capitalism. I've spoken about this before. Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section. If you would love to watch a video on how entitled men objectify women's body, please watch this video here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.